India has carried out military strikes in Pakistan, and Pakistan-administered Kashmir is saying it has struck terrorist infrastructure.
Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif calling it an act of war and vowing a response. The escalation comes 2 weeks after the deadly terror attack on tourists in Indian-administered Kashmir, which New Delhi has blamed on Islamabad.
India's defense ministry saying the armed forces launched Operation Sindoor, carrying out precision strikes at terrorist camps. It says 9 sites have been targeted. New Delhi calling its action non-escalatory, emphasizing no Pakistani military facilities have been hit.
Multiple loud explosions heard in the Pakistan-administered Kashmir close to the mountains around the city of Muzaffarabad. Witnesses say the city's power was blacked out.
सामने जो है ना तकरीबन 5-7 गोले बहुत बड़े-बड़े आकर के जलते रहे बार-बार बदलाव इस तरह लगे हैं तो उसके बाद खूब रात ही लोगों में फिर सब लोगों को उठाया गया कि एरिया खाली किया जाए। अच्छा ये इंडिया की तरफ से जो है फायरिंग हो रही है बस ये हालात हैं।
हम समामाटी रात को सोए थे तो 12 बजे शदीद फायरिंग की बात आई तो हमने देखा तो मस्जिद में ऐलान हुआ कि उन्होंने कहा ये एरिया खाली कर दो तो महफूज मकाम की तरफ मुंतकिल हो जाओ। हमने कहा निकले बच्चे आगे चलेंगे ये।
The Pakistani military is saying there are 24 impacts at 6 locations. These, they say, are Muzaffarabad, Bagh, and Kotli, which are in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, and in Bahawalpur and Muridka, which are in the Punjab province bordering India.
At least 8 casualties have been reported, 35 people said to be injured. Prime Minister Sharif has summoned a National Security Committee meeting this morning. Pakistan's military spokesperson telling Reuters that 5 Indian jets were shot down while they were in Indian airspace.
और आज दिन होने पे मीडिया को और इंटरनेशनल मीडिया को इन तमाम लोकेशन इन तमाम मकामात पे जहां पे मासूम पाकिस्तानियों का मासूम जानों का नुकसान किया गया, बच्चों को औरतों को बर्बरियत का निशाना बनाया गया, ले जाया जाएगा ताकि भारत की इस जाहरियत इस नंगी जाहरियत को तमाम दुनिया देखे और आपके सामने लाई जाए।
Both sides exchanging gunfire along the line of control in the Kashmir region. Indian Army saying it's responding to Pakistani fire in a calibrated manner. Flight disruptions are being reported in parts of Pakistan and northern India.
Well, India says it briefed the U.S. shortly after the strikes. Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying he's monitoring the situation closely and will continue to engage the Indian and Pakistani leadership towards a peaceful resolution.
But joining us with the latest details are Nia Punia from New Delhi and Hira Mustafa from Islamabad. The Indian authorities saying they carried out precision strikes. What specifics do we have about the locations targeted?
Well, details are still coming in, but what we do know from the statement that the Indian government has released, as well as information that's out in the public domain, is that these were terrorist infrastructures that India targeted, and India claims that these are all locations from where terror attacks against India were being planned and directed from. It claims that its actions have been focused, measured, and non-escalatory. What's also important to flag is that New Delhi is directly contradicting what the Pakistani Prime Minister is saying. India saying that no Pakistani civilian targets have been hit, no economic or military targets were hit either, only known terror camps were targeted, and that these were precision strike weapon systems that were used belonging to all 3 services, the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. Officials are saying that they had intelligence inputs based on which the coordinates were identified, and that all the operations were executed from Indian territory where the missiles were fired from. We also are hearing from officials who say that the strikes primarily targeted the headquarters of militant groups Jaish-e-Mohammed, which is in Bahawalpur, and Lashkar-e-Taiba, which is in Murdike. And, all of these details being shared after that initial statement came in from the Indian government, where India said it's shown considerable restraint. We are hearing that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to be holding a cabinet committee meeting on security, where he will review what's happened overnight. He will was reportedly monitoring the operation's execution very closely, and some reports suggest that India is also preparing phase 2 of a response based on Pakistan's retaliation, and that officials are also in close contact with foreign governments. You have the Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, who's briefed US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Indian government officials have been speaking to senior government officials in the UK, the UAE, Russia, and experts say that India will carry out more briefing operations through the day. But there's also going to be a press briefing later in the morning where the government is expected to share more details about what happened, which targets were hit, and how that operation unfolded.
Here we have reports quoting Pakistan as saying it shot down 5 Indian aircraft after the attack. I mean, what's the likely next step now for Islamabad?
Well, absolutely. As you already mentioned, that Pakistan's military spokesperson has also confirmed that Pakistan has shot down 5 Indian aircrafts. And this comes at a time when tensions are really high, and India has conducted airstrikes overnight in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. So in context to this, escalating tensions between the two nuclear-armed neighbors, Pakistan's military is conducting on-ground military operation, which is still underway, and Pakistan's forces are claiming that they are retaliating with full force, and they are still responding to the imminent threats, and they believe that India may carry out more airstrikes in the next couple of hours. In light of this situation, Pakistan's Prime Minister has convened a cabinet meeting which will be held in next couple of hours, and we have seen some strong statements coming from the Information Minister, the Defence Minister, and all the other federal ministers who have condemned India's cross-border airstrikes that happened overnight in Pakistan's Punjab province that is bordering India, and also the Pakistan-administered Kashmir. So situation is pretty murky at the moment as we are speaking, and yesterday, a high-level national security meeting was conducted at Pakistan's military headquarters, in which Prime Minister, along with the Defence Minister, was briefed about the military preparedness. As Pakistan's Defence Minister just a couple of days ago categorically stated that. The Information Minister categorically stated that there is a possibility of cross-border strike in coming days. So in response to this whole scenario, Pakistan has significantly beefed up its security measures. What we are hearing from the officials that Pakistan's airspace has also been shut down for next 48 hours, as officials are deeming the next couple of days very crucial.
Ania, what's the situation in the border areas? I mean, we're hearing reports of airspace being shut down in parts. It must be tense on the ground.
Absolutely. I mean, both sides refusing to blink, and we're seeing those tensions play out not just through the airstrikes, but what the ground situation looks like. If you open any flight tracking app right now, you'll see that most airlines are avoiding the Pakistani airspace as well as the airspace above the Indian region of Jammu and Kashmir. And we've also seen how many airlines have said that they're cancelling flights to Srinagar, which is in Kashmir, the capital city of the Indian administered region of Kashmir, as well as other cities in that region, including Dharamshala, Leh, Jammu, as well as Amritsar, which is in the Indian state of Punjab. And we've also seen how both sides have traded fire over that de facto border in the region of Kashmir as well. This has been happening now for 12 nights, where both sides have accused the other of violating the ceasefire that's been in place for many years there. But overnight, as news of this Operation Sindoor came through, the trading of fire was the heaviest we've seen in the last 2 weeks, and the Indian government saying that 3 Indian civilians have been killed in artillery shelling by Pakistani troops in Kashmir. So India reporting some casualties on this side of the border as well. We've also, we're waiting to see how these mock civil defense drills will be carried out across the country on Wednesday. This was announced earlier in the week as the government said it wanted to prepare citizens for what could be a hostile attack in the coming days. We will see air raid drills, we will see blackout drills, we will see key installations being covered and masked, as well as civilians being trained over what to do in case there is what the government is calling a hostile attack. This is something we've not seen in nearly 5 decades. The last time around something like this happened was just before the 1971 war, beg your pardon, between India and Pakistan. So, India showing readiness on that front, but clearly a sign, experts say, of how high tensions are. We saw in 2019 as well, when India had carried out air strikes inside Pakistan following a terror attack in Indian-administered Kashmir in which 40 Indian soldiers were killed. Pakistan had responded to with air raids, and that saw ties between the two nuclear-armed neighbors, hit new lows. But this is the most tense that bilateral relations have been between the two neighbors who fought 3 wars previously as well.
And Hira, do we know what's happening on the ground on the Pakistani side? I mean, in particular, what are authorities doing in the areas that were hit, but also, what's happening in surrounding areas and places as well?
Well, absolutely. The areas that are being struck by the Indian airstrikes, those areas have been cordoned off, and in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, emergency has been declared. Similarly, the Chief Minister of country's Punjab province has declared emergency. Security in both Pakistan-administered Kashmir and also in the Punjab province has significantly been ramped up, and the hospitals are on high alert, as the country's military spokesperson stated that there is a possibility that the number of casualties in next couple of hours could rise. So in light of this, hospitals across the country are on high alert. And also we are hearing reports that officials have also set up a crisis management center in response to the growing escalation between India and Pakistan. And just a while ago, the country's Minister to the Technology has stated that there are reports of cyber security threats. So therefore, Pakistan has strengthened its cyber defenses. So overall, situation is pretty tense. And as I already mentioned, that a high-level meeting has been convened to deliberate upon the security situation, especially at the line of control. And we have seen in past couple of weeks also that Information Minister has also paid a visit to the operational center that's been set up at the Foreign Office to closely monitor the security situation at the borders between India and Pakistan. What we are also hearing from the officials is that Pakistan is going to retaliate if any more cross-border strikes takes place from Indian side, and we have seen that in this water treaty, a major water sharing agreement has also sparked anger in Islamabad, which New Delhi has unilaterally suspended, which Defense Minister has stated that if India tries to change the course of water, Pakistan will take it as an act of war. So situation on that ground is very tense, and this all is happening at the moment when Italian foreign minister is in the country on a 2-day visit, and officials are telling that he was here to discuss this tense situation that's been going on from past couple of days between the two nuclear-armed neighbors.
All right, Hira, appreciate the update. Hira Mustafa in Islamabad and Neha Punya in New Delhi. Thank you both very much for all the live reporting.